Alrighty, so we've got a really interesting fight here. It's Gregor Gillespie versus Brad Riddell. So Brad Riddell coming out of a really good camp in City Kickboxing. A lot of great fighters coming out of there, being bred there in the walls of City Kickboxing. Nice up and coming gym. A lot of really high level fighters there. And I imagine we'll see some more as they continue to grow. So Gregor Gillespie, we haven't seen him in a while. It's been 17 months. He is coming off his first loss in his professional career. It was a bad loss as well. It was a knockout clean by Kevin Lee with a head kick. It was one of the best knockouts of the year or all time. So he probably sees that highlight quite a bit. Like it was a very nice knockout, but it was a bad loss if you were on the wrong end of it. But before that, he was 6-1 in the UFC, and he was really making some marks in the UFC. Alright, we'll get into it. We'll do the striking first. Alright, so Gregor Gillespie, he has, serviceable stand-up. It's not the best, but it's decent. He was doing okay on the feet with Kevin Lee before. Kevin Lee isn't the best boxer as well, but, he still looked pretty decent. Mostly it's just boxing combinations that he throws. For Brad Riddell, he's got high striking IQ, like he's a very good striker. He's Volkanovski's coach, so that tells you how high level he is and how highly regarded he is in the camp. City kickboxing camp. But yeah, he's got fluid combinations, and he also just keeps everything in tight, especially in close, doesn't overextend on anything. There's very nice hooks in the pocket. Alright, so, what's his name? Gillespie, his hand drops after, when he pops the jab out, his hand drops. Can't do that against a guy like Riddell, who will make the read and start going with Gillespie's an orthodox. Yeah, so he'll start going with right straight or a right overhand. But also his head doesn't move off center line when he's throwing. You can tell he's not super. He's okay. He's pretty comfortable in the stand up, but he's not. It's definitely not where he prefers the fight to be. In the grappling though, where he does want it, he's a very nice single leg, has a lot of variations of finishes of the single leg. When he's in the open, he'll generally just shoot for the low single and then, drive you to the fence and then work a single leg variation from there, like either on the pipe or just a bunch of stuff. So yeah, the low single is similar to what Khabib does when he just dives at the ankle pretty much, grabs onto it, doesn't let go, drives you to the fence, finishes the takedown like that. But yeah, he's had a very accomplished amateur wrestling career. He's relentless with his wrestling attempts. For Brad Riddell, he's got decent hips on the sprawl. He's got a decent whizzer, and good hips, on the double leg or the single leg. But, this is a different level of wrestling, so, decent may not cut it, but he has shown against his competition he's faced so far that he's got decent takedown defense. So also what Gregor Gillespie does is that he'll get the wrestling ride. He's very strong from that position, doesn't let go. He'll either mat return or look to take the back from there. In these transitions, he's looking to make you bear his weight. He's got a great understanding of transitions. That's why opponents, can't really escape his grasp, because he knows what they're going to do based on where he's putting his weight, because he's only given them a few directions or options to escape this clinch. But when he does get opponents to the mat, he'll use a crossface grip, he'll threaten the arm triangle, he'll either use it to pass guard, or he'll use it just to finish the fight if the opponent's not defending it correctly. But once, he does have dominant position, he will let some ground and pound go, but generally he looks to obtain the dominant position before he lets any ground and pound off. And for Brad Riddell, I don't expect him to do it in this fight because he has good coaches and he seems like he's pretty switched on himself, but he seems to engage in grappling situations where he probably shouldn't. Like when his opponent gives him the opportunity to disengage, he sometimes gets sucked into a grappling fest. You saw that in the Malarkey fight, saw that in the De Silva fight, and the what's his name, Mustafayev fight. He tends to do that quite a bit. but I don't assume he'd be doing it in this fight. Alright, so how these guys win their fights. For Gregor Gillespie, he's got that strong wrestling ride, and he's got great grappling cardio. He's just relentless with his grappling. For Brad Riddell, he's got good range control, and he's got nice hands and good kicks, just a solid kickboxing game. How these guys lose their fights. For Brad Riddell, he's fairly easy to like take him down, like ground him, either get him on his butt or, you know, get him in a turtle position. But he's really hard to hold down, you know, so I got to mention that. But also, yeah, he's just, he's pretty easy to get down to the mat or just create a grappling situation with him. Path to victory for these two. For Gregor Gillespie, obviously you get the wrestling going, get the wrestling ride, and then once because he'll be probably focused on breaking the hands, and then once he's focused on breaking the hands, look to attack a single leg. Once he's, you know, using that whizzer or just trying to get underhooks, look to shuck them off and then go back to the wrestling ride, and just go back and forth really. Because, yeah, Brad does tend to stall in these kind of situations on the fence. But also, yeah, the short shots, if you do have him against the cage and he's proving really hard to get down, if you can't, you know, take out his post, or he's just stalling on the takedown, really. If he's just stalling on the takedown defense, I mean, then look to, you know, land a few ground and pound, well, not ground and pound, but just look to land a few short shots on the fence, just for the visual, for the judges. It always helps, but yeah, you don't want to just be stalling on against the fence, because it's just not a great visual for the ref, for the judges. But yeah, past the victory for Brad Riddell. Jab, like as Kevin Lee was doing, he was, you know, sticking the jab out. He had a very low base, and he was a fortress for Gillespie, and he didn't let Gillespie in the whole fight. Which was, you know, 4 minutes or whatever. But, you know, Gillespie shot once, didn't get it, and then didn't attempt for another 2 minutes, I think. But yeah, that's what you want to do. You want to, don't be too fancy, just pop the jab out, keep a low base, don't throw any kicks. And also, if he does drive you to the fence or, you know, look to enter the clinch, look to disengage immediately. Or if you stuff a double leg or stuff a single, look to disengage immediately, pretty much. You don't want to extend the grappling, you know, situations. Alright, so how I see this one going. So the reason I've been kind of speeding through this one is because it's not very hard to break down, really. Like, Brad wants to keep it on the feet, looks to use his superior striking. Gregor will want to get it to the ground. He'll look to use his superior wrestling or just create as many grappling situations as he can. So yeah, the question is really who can implement their game plan better. Depends on whether, you know, Gregor can get his wrestling going. It's either that. So it pretty much comes down to Gregor, if he can get it going or not. Because he will definitely be shooting. So that's the kind of vibe of the fight, is that he's going to be trying to take Brad down the whole fight. And it's whether Brad can stop it or he can just keep him on the feet. Because, you know, Gregor's not just going to get into a boxing match like he did with Kevin Lee. I don't believe, anyway. But yeah, Brad doesn't rely on footwork, as he likes to be the one coming forward. And I see that being a problem in this fight, because he can walk onto Gregor's wrestling offense. He steps forward with his lead leg, and then Gregor grabs a single. But yeah, Gregor pretty much just wants to get Brad on the ground, keep him there. You know, the game plans are no secret. I believe Gregor will have more success in implementing his game plan. I think Gillespie will be able to hit the single leg with relative ease, in my opinion, just from what I've seen with Brad and his balance. But yeah, it was just concerning to see Riddell just get control with the wrestling ride and not really able to neutralize it against Mustafayev in their fight. So that's not a great look if you're going to get someone like Gregor Gillespie. But yeah, we'll have a look at the betting lines. So right now I think they got it about 60-40. The way I line the fight is 75% in favour of Gregor Gillespie and 25% for Brad Riddell. So that line is around minus 300 or $1.33, and the comeback on Brad Riddell would be plus 270 or $3.70. And that's just how I line it. Might seem a little bit wide, but I think Gillespie's going to have the initiative here. He's going to be the one to lead the vibe of the fight. That's not the right word I'm looking for, but yeah, you get what I mean. I think he'll be the one to put his game plan on Brad and not vice versa. And I think that happens a large majority of the time. So yeah, if I'm waiting for like $1.70 Gregor to put a bit more units on, but right now, personally, I've played Gregor Gillespie at $1.65, so his current price. I think I put I might have put 5 units. I'm pretty confident that he'll get it done here. It's really hard to bet against these grappling heavy guys who have really good grappling cardio, will not stray from the game plan, and yeah, really put it on you. So yeah, if Gregor gets above 1.7, I might put some more on, but I don't expect that to happen. I expect the line to keep going down. But yeah, I think Gregor should win this a large majority of the time.